You could just feel something big was coming, because the way this team moved all off-season never looked like a franchise that was panicking. They stayed patient, stayed quiet, and now everything suddenly feels like it's about to explode in Pittsburgh. If this deal really gets done, the entire vibe around this team changes immediately, and Steelers fans already know the expectations are about to go through the roof. Smash that like button if you're fired up for Steelers football, and drop "Here we go" down in the comments if you're rolling with the black and gold, no matter what happens this season. Aaron Rodgers is finally on his way to Pittsburgh, and after months of speculation, waiting, rumors, and non-stop debate across Steelers Nation, it now feels like this entire situation is reaching its conclusion. The Steelers have been connected to Rodgers throughout the entire offseason, but now the reporting coming out says this visit is expected to lead toward a contract agreement that would officially bring Rodgers back as the Steelers' starting quarterback for the upcoming season. That is the massive development everyone in Pittsburgh has been waiting for. And honestly, when you look at everything the organization has done over the last several months, this move makes complete sense. From the very beginning of the offseason, the Steelers operated like a team that already knew who their quarterback was going to be. They never aggressively pursued other veteran starters. They never made a panic move in free agency. They didn't use a premium draft pick on a quarterback ready to start immediately. Instead, they stayed patient the entire time. And that patience now appears to be paying off with Aaron Rodgers reportedly traveling to Pittsburgh for meetings that are expected to result in a deal being finalized. What is really interesting about this entire situation is how calm the Steelers remained while the rest of the football world kept questioning what they were doing. Fans kept asking why the team wasn't making aggressive moves at quarterback. Analysts kept wondering if Pittsburgh was taking too big of a risk by waiting on Rodgers. But internally, the Steelers continued to project confidence. They behaved like they already understood the direction this was heading. And now, after the draft has come and gone, after all the noise surrounding free agency disappeared, Rodgers arriving in Pittsburgh suddenly makes all of those decisions look intentional. According to the reporting, no official contract has been signed yet, and there are still discussions taking place regarding the exact financial structure of the deal. However, the expectation around the league is that money is not going to become a major obstacle here. Rodgers is not expected to command some massive quarterback contract that would cripple the organization financially. In fact, the projected numbers being discussed would actually make him one of the least expensive veteran starting quarterbacks in the NFL. That becomes incredibly important when you think about what the Steelers are trying to accomplish over the next year. Pittsburgh is built to compete right now. This roster is not entering a rebuilding phase. The Steelers still believe they have a championship-caliber defense. They still believe they have veteran leadership capable of making a postseason run. And most importantly, they clearly believe Aaron Rodgers gives them the best chance to maximize this current window. That matters because the organization understands players like Cam Hayward are not going to be around forever. There is urgency inside this franchise to compete immediately, and bringing back Rodgers aligns perfectly with that timeline. One of the biggest reasons why this move makes sense is the familiarity Rodgers already has with Mike McCarthy's offensive system. That connection cannot be overlooked. Rodgers spent years operating within concepts tied to McCarthy's style of offense, and that familiarity creates an easier transition compared to bringing in a quarterback who would need to completely learn the system from scratch. For a Steelers team trying to win immediately, minimizing that adjustment period becomes extremely valuable. The Steelers also appear convinced that Rodgers will perform better this season because the supporting cast around him has improved. Last year, the offense lacked consistency, especially in the receiving room, and there were legitimate frustrations regarding offensive structure and personnel usage. Now, Pittsburgh believes the offensive environment surrounding Rodgers is stronger. The additions made to the offense, combined with another year of chemistry building inside the system, have created optimism that Rodgers can elevate this unit at a much higher level than what fans saw previously. Another major factor in all of this is Drew Aller. The Steelers drafting Aller was a massive signal about how they view the future of the quarterback position. They clearly believe he has physical talent worth developing, but they also understand he is not ready to immediately step into a starting role. Reports continue to emphasize that Aller needs significant developmental work, particularly with his footwork and defensive processing. That is where Aaron Rodgers becomes incredibly important beyond just helping the Steelers win games this season. If Rodgers officially signs, the Steelers are essentially creating the ideal developmental situation for Aller. Instead of forcing a young quarterback onto the field before he is prepared, Pittsburgh can allow him to sit, learn, and absorb information from one of the smartest quarterbacks in football history. Rodgers' experience inside a Mike McCarthy offense gives him unique value as a mentor in this specific environment. The Steelers are not just thinking about this season. They are trying to build a bridge between competing now and preparing their future quarterback correctly. That is why this move actually solves multiple problems at the same time. Rodgers gives Pittsburgh stability in the short term while also protecting Aller's long-term development. The Steelers do not have to rush their young quarterback. They do not have to throw him into high-pressure situations before he is fundamentally ready. Instead, they can allow him to develop properly behind a future Hall of Fame player who understands every detail of the offensive system. There is also another reality here that Steelers fans have started to recognize. The organization simply does not appear convinced that Will Howard is the long-term answer. If the Steelers truly believed Howard was ready to lead this football team, they probably would not still be pushing this aggressively toward Rodgers. The fact they remained patient throughout the entire offseason strongly suggests they never viewed Howard as the ideal QB1 for a roster trying to compete for championships immediately. And honestly, from a football perspective, that is understandable. Rodgers still brings elite football intelligence, experience, leadership, and the ability to control games mentally at the line of scrimmage. Even if he is no longer the MVP-level version from his prime years, the Steelers clearly believe his understanding of the game alone raises the floor of the entire offense. That becomes especially important in big moments late in the season when playoff races tighten and experience matters more than ever. What stands out most is that Rodgers reportedly isn't traveling to Pittsburgh for some casual conversation or exploratory meeting. The tone surrounding all the reporting strongly suggests this is business. This feels like the final step before an official agreement is announced. The Steelers have waited patiently for this moment, and now it appears they are extremely close to finally securing the veteran quarterback they targeted throughout the entire offseason. If this deal officially gets done, expectations around the Steelers are immediately going to rise. Fans are going to start talking seriously about playoff runs again. The pressure on Mike Tomlin and the offense will increase dramatically, and every single game next season is going to carry enormous attention because Aaron Rodgers wearing a Steelers uniform instantly changes the national spotlight around this franchise. Now, the biggest question becomes whether Rodgers can deliver the kind of season Pittsburgh believes he still has left in him. Because if the Steelers are right about the improved supporting cast, if the offense takes a step forward under this structure, and if Rodgers still has enough left physically to complement his elite football mind, this team could become much more dangerous than people currently expect. So Steelers Nation, after all the waiting, all the rumors, and all the uncertainty, it finally looks like Aaron Rodgers is about to officially return as the Steelers' starting quarterback. Do you believe this is the move that can push Pittsburgh back into legitimate championship contention? Or do you still have concerns about the direction of the team at quarterback? And now I want to hear from you, Steelers Nation. Do you believe Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback that can finally take Pittsburgh back to the Super Bowl? Or do you think the Steelers should have gone in a different direction? Drop your thoughts down in the comments because I know this fan base is going to have a lot to say about this situation. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss any breaking Steelers news. We're covering every single update surrounding Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin, and this football team all off-season long. And don't leave yet. Click on the video that's now on your screen for more Steelers coverage because the latest news and updates are always right here. Go Steelers!